to?
Well, the piece de resistance.
The what?
See, I can't talk. I can't speak French.
Try that again.
The piece de resistance. I can't pronounce it.
Piece de resistance.
Thank you.
I am not a French speaker, but I can do a little bit better than that.
Spanish is my scene.
Okay.
But Dara Starr Tucker is releasing "Time Wouldn't Wait" on August 15th, and it's a beautiful record out on Green Hill Music with an incredible cover by Jeff from Philadelphia. Just a fantastic
Jeff Manning is the artist from Philly who did this cover. And
man, I really, again, to sound cliche, had a wonderful time, mostly just being in the room.
Yeah.
You have another great cast on this. Gary Versace, our first time working with him on piano and Hammond organ this time. Vicente Archer on bass throughout, except for 2 tunes that I'm on. Marcus Finney is back on drums. And
that's right. That's why.
We added, though, Simon Mollier on vibraphone for I think 3 songs.
I'm remembering now why you are on 2 songs.
Mm-hmm. And
we're on 2 songs. Oh, God.
You want to tell that story in a minute? But Rod McGaha also plays trumpet on 3 songs.
Oh, that's right.
Of
Rod
this. He was in town, and we were
Rod is one of our
happy.
friends from Nashville.
Absolutely. Great trumpeter. Spent some time with fellow trumpeter Clark Terry and also with drummer Max Roach. And he's great on his own. He's one of our favorite trumpeters. But this album is really unique in that I feel it's a return to a touch of that, if you will, Americana thing that you have, but still very much cloaked, I believe, in the contemporary language of jazz or, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. We come out swinging on the first song with Shining. Yeah. It's half and half, this great groovy backbeat thing.
This one I am going to play. We're going to play a few samples from
going to the
Time Wouldn't Wait.
It's my time. My time to blossom in the sun. The darkness I can overcome. The light from heaven keeps me shining. Shining is my time.
That's Shining.
Yeah, that's fun. That's
this
fun.
one, I think. How many songs did I write on this one? And versus what the covers were? I think it was supposed to be half and half, but because of the change that we're going to explain to you that happened later, it ended up being, I think, 7 and 4 or something like that. But I think Dara Starr Tucker might have been that close to that
something
too.
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, supposed to be half and half, but we.
But yeah, no, there were some situations and
some circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is my sob story. Okay, I'll try to tell it quickly.
Okay,
because it's hurtful. This was painful. This was a hard one. Oh Jesus. Oh Lord. Oh Jesus. Be offense. Okay, look. It was your fault. I'm going to blame this one on you, Greg.
No, you can't.
Yes, I am. Because Greg was a DJ in Philly. So we went to Newark. We left Nashville in 2020, went to Newark. We were there for 2.5 years. Situations and circumstances happened. We ended up in Philly, and he'd end up working for a jazz station there in Philly. So WRTI is where you were up until 8 months ago.
Yeah.
Until I dragged you out here to California. So him working nightly on WRTI in Philly, I would listen to him, especially when he was doing the show live every night. I would listen to him pretty faithfully. And he was playing this song called Dexter's Tune, which was from a movie called Awakenings from 1987 or 88 or something. Yeah. It's a Robin Williams movie. If you have not seen Awakenings, I would highly recommend it. It's part of my 37 top 25 films of all time. Greg had asked me at one point what my top films were, and I had written them down, and I couldn't keep it to 25.
37 top 25.
I ended up with 30.
How do you do the math on that?
I could not narrow my top 25
Crazy
films down
town over here.
to 25. So I always say I have a 37 top 25. Awakenings is a part of that. So there was a tune in that movie that I loved called Dexter's Tune, and it was played on piano in that film by a guy named Dexter Gordon, who is a jazz musician. He's actually a saxophonist, a tenor saxophonist, and not a pianist. I didn't know that just watching the movie. But I had learned to play that song on piano. It was near and dear to my heart. And Greg started playing this song done by a jazz musician named Orrin Evans, another piano player that lives in Philly, named Orrin Evans. And Greg would play this every once in a while, and I'm like, oh my God, that's the song from Awakenings.
Yeah.
I love this version.
Yeah.
And so Greg had been encouraging me for years. I had done this a couple times in the past, with songs we never really used much, but he had been encouraging me to write lyrics to some popular jazz songs. I'm like, man, I have been wanting to mess with this song for a while. Let me just hunker down. He's played, you instigated, Greg.
Yeah.
By playing this song by Orrin Evans called Dexter's Tune. I'm like, let me write a lyric
Beautiful
to it.
version.
And I did. I wrote a lyric to this song. And I called it Where Morning Begins, and it was inspired by watching Jimmy Carter's funeral, or watching his wife, Rosalind Carter's funeral, and just this whole story about where love begins and blah, 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 blah. I mean, I just put my heart and my soul into this, and I was just so excited to actually, have this little capsule, this little thing that meant so much to me. The album was supposed to be called, now here's another fun fact. The album was supposed to be called Where Morning Begins.
That was the title song for this current album.
The title track of the album.
First iteration.
So when the label went to go try to get the rights, we had actually delivered the full album to them with this song, Where Morning Begins, which was based on a song called Dexter's Tune, which was actually written by Randy Newman.
Right.
Was
that's
not
right.
written by Dexter.
No,
I thought
it
all
wasn't.
this time
That was
this was
Dexter
written by
Gordon's
Dexter
song.
Gordon.
It was Randy
No, it was
Newman's
written by
song.
Randy Newman for Dexter Gordon, who played it in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and it was performed by Orrin Evans in this version that Greg let me hear. So it's this whole, complicated story that I said I was going to make short, but I didn't. But the label went to go get the rights for this once we submitted the album to them. And lo and behold, they said,
Just one problem, folks.
you can't do this.
Yeah.
That is not actually allowed. You can't take somebody's song and write new lyrics to it. And even if you're going to give them half the credit and you're going to get half the credit, I was like, okay, what if I just take my name off of it? And let's just make this Randy Newman song. Nope, you can't do it because you changed something about it. And if
Exactly.
the estate should hear it and they didn't like it, and this happened to the Winans. Another fun fact. In the 80s, they took an Elton John song called Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, and they switched up some lyrics and made it into a song about the rapture, okay?
Oh, wow.
The second coming of Jesus. Elton John, they put it on the album, okay? Their album called Decisions. Elton John found out about this and did not approve of this. So any version of the Decisions album that you hear now, after they have been reissued, anything past that first pressing, they had to take that off and put on a song called The Real Meaning of Christmas.
Interesting.
Because Elton John threatened to sue them and said, you will not use my song for this kind of messaging. So we didn't know any of this going in. You cannot do that.
Right.
And so we had reached out to like Randy Newman's people. We tried.
Yeah, we did. We did. And we kind of got just an innocuous response. And
it was like, oh, just reach out to the publisher or something like that.
It's like, we need your permission.
We need Randy Newman's or his estate's permission to do that. We had no idea.
Yeah.
Our ignorance came to bite us in the butt with this one.
Yeah, didn't get it, so we had to take the song off.
So at some point, I don't know, maybe that song will be heard. I don't know.
Maybe. We can play it live.
It's not going to be heard today.
Yeah. So
now that I'm done lamenting a song that's not even on the album.
So we moved to Los Angeles. And in a scramble. No, that's not why. But in a scramble, in turning the album in on time, we've got to come up with another song in a week. And Dara does what Dara does. She's got the best problem of them all. Dara literally has almost 2 albums worth of original material that has never been recorded.
Oh, at least 2. It's probably 2, 3 albums.
So we went to Dara's Rolodex. Oh, yeah. By the way, we never did any thing with my song. Went to the catalog. We never did anything with my song Brick Wall. Oh, yeah. That might be nice. And it occupies sonically a similar space. It's not the same song.
Where Morning Begins.
Yeah, but it's a ballad. And it's like, let's try this. So miraculously, we also got in touch with pianist Larry Goldings,
who plays for James Taylor, among many others,
and does his own thing too.
Yeah.
And
we got
Christian
Larry Goldings
Newman
and
on
Christian
drums.
Newman into what was the place called?
Sam First
Club
during the daytime.
Actually does some recording, and he ended up getting a sound that was actually pretty close to what we got in the studio. So we recorded these 2 songs here in LA.
I'll build a brick wall as high as can be so I can't get to you.
Nobody's heard this song.
No.
Not a soul.
Yes, I'll build a brick wall so no one can see that I'm not over you.
Okay. That was one of the ones we recorded as a replacement to Where Morning Begins, which was the title track. It was that was an emotional process to have to let that song go. The other one that we included that we recorded at Sam First was called The Space, which was done on one of those albums.
One of those local albums, yeah.
Yeah, that second album that we had to take off of the platforms because the production just wasn't up to our standards. So this was another original song that no one has heard in a long time, I'll say it that way, that we did with Larry Goldings and with Christian Human at the Sam First Club. And this one is called The Space, and we perform this one live all the time. So it's good to have another recorded version of it now.
And the space I occupy, it's so hard to recognize, fading slowly into night, hiding in the in-between. Yeah, the space I occupy, it's not hard to criticize, knowing what you wanted me to be. It's seeing what I've always seen.
Now, if you've heard us perform live, you've probably heard that one.
Yeah, but if you haven't, get on this. Time Wouldn't Wait. It comes out August 15th. You can pre-order it right now. You can be the first on your block to have the new Dara Starr Tucker album. Time Wouldn't Wait on Green Hill Music. Pre-order it.
Pre-saving and pre-ordering and stuff, it makes a big difference, especially in the world of jazz. You know, I've never really exploited this as a content creator with, like I said, over 1 million followers online. If they would allow me, if the algorithm would allow me to really reach a lot of the people who follow me online, and even if a fraction of those people saved and pre-ordered or pre-saved this album, it would make a huge impact on the jazz charts, because it really doesn't take that much.
So I'm going to do an appeal right now.
Oh my God.
If you follow Dara Starr Tucker, and you're always one of the people who want to know, how can I help Dara? How can I help fortify her message? How can I help her career? How can I help her to eat?
Oh, I think I'm doing enough of that.
Well, this is how you can do that. You can pre-save, you can pre-order. Time Wouldn't Wait. The new record comes out August 15th.
Okay.
You can pre-save, you can pre-order, you can let the algorithm and everybody else know that you support not only Dara's commentary, but her music, her first love, her trade, what she came here to this earth to really do.
This is Greg Bryant, who does frequently as an employee of public radio, who's done frequent pledge drives.
I don't do that
Greg,
anymore.
for the hard sell.
I'm hard selling.
Donate to your local PBS station and NPR stations, by the way.
That's for real. Yeah, they need our support, and a lot of the money from CPB actually went towards paying for music licenses for these smaller stations to be able to play licensed
albums
music.
like this.
Yeah, exactly. So as jazzers, as Americana-ers, as indie rockers, we depend on PBS. So support them also. Yeah.
But we included them, and we're kind of, we used a little bit of the same formula that we've used in our past albums with Green Hill. They kind of always want the covers just because they want the ability to kind of play with the options, I guess, as far as like playlisting goes. There are a lot of practical concerns that go into making an album. It really isn't just about what you would do. Like if we're doing an album that is completely independent, like Oklahoma Rain, then literally I'm just like, I don't care.
And we don't have to pay Harry Fox ourselves.
Right. We did our own fundraiser. Yeah. That was not an album for jazz radio. We did not even do a jazz radio campaign. But with jazz radio and how it works these days is that you actually hire someone. This is something people don't really know a whole lot about. Again, getting a view into a little bit of how the sausage is made, you hire a radio promoter.
That's right.
And we've got a guy named Mark Rennie that we use out of Oregon.
Good friend.
Groove Marketing?
Groove Marketing. And Josh Elliman is here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Groove Marketing.
Oh, I didn't know that. And so these guys, what they do is that, there's no pay to play. You cannot pay somebody to play your music on a radio station. But what they do is that they make sure that the stations get the music, and then they keep track of who's playing it and who's not. They're giving them a call. Hey, did you play the record? Are you listening to this one? Hey, this song might work. This one might work. Just want to turn your ears to this.
Absolutely.
It can work. It can not work. They cannot guarantee you that your song's going to be played. That's not what they're paid to do. They're paid to
advocate.
Yeah, to advocate
for the artists.
to tap people
they
on
do
the
it well.
shoulder, and to give you reporting as to who's actually playing your album. So
Absolutely.
that's the most you can really do as far as radio goes.
Yeah.
Now we all know that playlisting has become so much more important than it was even
on
five
Spotify
or 10 years
and
ago.
Apple Music and
So that's the other part of the
Amazon.
equation. Yeah, where the record label now has to have their own person whose job it is to have relationship and communication with these so-called DSPs and communicating with them about what's being played and what's not.
Exactly.
And so what works for playlisting on streaming services may not be the same thing that works for jazz radio.
Absolutely.
So like I said, there's a lot of strategy that goes into the type of music that you're playing, who's on these albums, whether you're including original songs versus covers. What does, Greg works for Sirius XM. What do they expect? That's kind of its own thing.
Exactly. It's its own thing.
Absolutely. It's not that easy. But one song that jumped out at the label when we first sent them the project, one of the first songs that they all kind of coalesced around. The very first one, they said this is the standout track, is not even necessarily a jazz radio song.
But I go back to my history. Ray Charles, very much steeped in the jazz tradition, released what? Modern Sounds in Country Music in 1962.
Country Western.
So he knew the Americana situation was applicable.
That's deep in my bones, partly because, I grew up listening to a lot of like Southern gospel in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It has its own history of this music, this kind of singer-songwriter music. My background is very much multicultural. I grew up with a lot of this James Taylor, John Denver stuff. Singer-songwriter music from back in the day. So this is in my bones. This is not some strategic, play that I am making. Half of what I write probably exists in the singer-songwriter genre. And if it were played on guitar, it would probably belong in that genre. But we just kind of give a jazz interpretation to it. So if you're actually listening, acutely listening to my music, you will hear this influence everywhere. But I'm going to play you a snippet of the song that jumped out to the label as being the standout track. And this one will be released, I think, as a single the day that this album is released, which is what, August
15th.
15th.
Yep.
This was the one that they felt like was the standout track. Now, this one I wrote the chorus for and reached out to my sister Diamond to help me write the verses for. I'm like, I don't want to mess this one up. It's the same thing I did with my song Giants on the Sun Season. So Diamond Tucker helped me to write this one. It's called Tall Georgia Pines. I'm a DJ.
Frozen time is backwoods and barnyards.
We'll play an extended clip of this.
Okay.
Scent of the pines begs me to stay. I know that I could have found a way somehow to forget the life I knew, be on my way. These tall Georgia pines, been holding all my secrets. It's been a long, lonely time since I've been down this way. It took a while just to find a little peace and contentment. Please forgive me if I'm not ready to come back to stay.
Yeah, if you dig.
That's Tall Georgia Pines, y'all.
Instrumentally, John Scofield, the guitarist album Country for Old Men, or if you dig Ray Charles's Modern Sounds in Country and Western. Did I get that right? Then that's maybe a song for you. It's a song for me. Again, that might be top 5 Dara Tucker
And Greg's not even
originals.
really that big a country or Americana fan, but I mean, it's not really a country or Americana production. It doesn't even have guitar on it, so that's kind of, I don't know, that's a little bit of the territory that I've existed in, for better or for worse, writing a lot of this stuff. And we lived in Greg's from Nashville.
Yeah.
I lived in Nashville for 13, 14 years,
Yeah.
and so that stuff that's a part of the story of how I write. I came to Nashville to be a songwriter in the Americana genre. That's what I thought I was going to do. I didn't think I was really going to be singing very much. I came there to write, and I felt like I had a contribution to make, but it's just not the way things ended up going.
Yeah. Again, this is Dara Starr Tucker. If you don't know her, of course you know who this is.
Well, by this point,
and I will tell you,
goodness.
and I will embarrass her, as a songwriter, she is the co-writer to the song Oklahoma with Keb Mo, the Americana artist who won Best Americana Album in 2020 on the basis
At the Grammys.
On the basis of that album and that titled song that Dara co-wrote. So she has a Grammy credit. It's not her Grammy, but she has a Grammy credit. She's toured with Charlie Hunter, as we mentioned. She's a fellow of the Woodshed Network, Dee Dee Bridgewater's outlet for helping young women in jazz.
I don't think anybody wants to know more about my resume, Greg. Let's let them hear more of the music,
She has 6
Greg.
albums, and this is the
Thank you,
newest
Greg.
one. Time
we
Wouldn't Wait.
You. We appreciate you, Greg.
You're not going to cut me
They're
off.
They're gonna hear
You
a
can
little
try,
bit. Well,
but
I
you're
want
not
to
going
do the
to.
music. I want to do.
Maybe just one more.
Well, no.
But they've got to go.
We've got some.
They've got to go. They got to go get it. They got to go
We've got
get
some
it.
more of the music for you now, folks. This is the listening part of our session here at the Recording Club of Santa Monica.
Okay.
That is where we are.
Okay.
But yeah, I want you to hear some more of the album. And the other thing I totally forgot, we actually did record another of the songs that we had to say goodbye to when we said goodbye to that second
Got a new
album.
version.
The Soul Said Yes was that second album that we mentioned that we had to just take down because it was not at the quality that we wanted it to be. Well, we revived not only The Space, which I played for you earlier, but this one. This was the one that was arranged back in the day by a friend of ours, good friend of ours that you just talked to this morning.
That's right.
Named Paul Horton. He had been playing around with this 5/4 version of Pure Imagination. And we included it just as a duo between, I think, me and Mason Embry on the album. Or was it Paul?
But this is the full band version. Gary Versace, Vicente Archer, Marcus Finney, Dara Starr Tucker. Listen.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in a world of my creation. What you seek will defy explanation. Every one of you, paradise.
It's really cool to get to a point in your career where you can start revisiting some things. And this is that point because it's
awesome.
like, we've got The Space, Pure Imagination. Are those the only two that we have revisited from previous projects? And I plan to do more of that, honestly, going forward. Like I said, I can't wait to get my hands back on Miss Me from the Seven Colors. That song, I feel like there's more to be mined.
There's more to it. Yeah.
There's more to be mined from it. There's another interpretation there.
No, I like that.
No. From Dara Starr Tucker, we've revisited Closer Walk, and that was from the very first album.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant just this new record.
I'm sorry, I wasn't clear, but Just a Closer Walk with Thee appears on Dara Starr Tucker, our last album, and that was from our very first project, All Right Now. And so, to be able to, we don't have to re-release those albums or remix them or anything, but just to be able to come back
again with a new
really
version.
Cool. It's really cool, and I've got some other ones in mind.
Cool.
2.
I'm down.
That I want to come back to.
I'm down.
What's another one that stands out to you, Greg?
Oh man, my favorite probably is going to have to be the title track, Time Wouldn't Wait. It's a song that we've been replaying live for probably about 7 years now.
We haven't played this much.
No, but it's been in the book for a while. And again, one of those ones, where is that song? We haven't recorded it until now.
Yeah, I don't know that we've performed this one very many times. I remember doing this one when we did the Exit Zero Jazz Fest, I think, for the first time ever. But we've probably performed this, maybe 4, maybe a handful of times.
More than that, maybe.
I don't think so.
You were never the best with time. You thought time would always wait for you.
This is about my father, Doyle Tucker.
Oh, but nevertheless, you tried to fill our lives with all the joy you could. We never believed it, to see your shining faces we walked by. Who'd have known how little time we had to say goodnight? And still it would be good to know that time would always be good to you. And still it would be good to know that time would always be there for you. But time wouldn't wait for you.
That is
Yeah.
the title track.
Yeah, yeah. There's more to that one. That's all I'll say. It gets to some hip places even beyond that. Yeah, that's a fun song to play live.
I'm laughing because Greg, you are so predictable in terms of what jumps out at you. Because I'm just like, when I first started playing it, I'm like, why is this Greg's favorite? I was like,
I love.
Oh yeah, there's kind of a get down thing at the end. That we really go deeper with that song live.
Oh yeah.
Than we do on the album. I think
Yeah.
the album has a very much a truncated version of what we do live.
Yeah. No, we weren't trying to be like 6 minutes. We did a nice little summation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's called Time Wouldn't Wait, title track of the Time Wouldn't Wait
Beautiful performance.
album. One of my favorites, to be honest, is the whole concept of this album was to kind of get to do some film songs, some songs from the world of film. Like I said, that's the song that was supposed to be the title track, which was called Where Morning Begins, was from the film Awakenings. And so most of the songs, I think, the cover songs that I chose are from the world of film.
They are.
And I wanted to talk about the passage of time and just how we use time, how we value time, which is why we used Time Wouldn't Wait as the alternative title track. So a lot of the songs that I wrote for this album have to do with just, the passage of time and just how precious that is and how we should not squander time. But one of the ones that the cover songs, I think probably my favorite cover song from this album is from a movie from 1994. Back in my prime.
Get it right.
Back in my prime when
right.
I used to work at Blockbuster Video as a teenager.
Cool.
And this was a little song that appeared in a movie called Legends of the Fall with Brad Pitt. And not a lot of people would have even caught this song in that film because it happened so quickly. It's just a little thing that's sung beside the piano. But this is called Twilight and Mist.
Fellow stood at the edge of a wood. In his hands lay the reins of a stallion, and ne'er I'd seen a lad so rare, heard a gentler voice anywhere, whispered alas, he belonged to another, forever. Yes, he belonged to the twilight and mist.
That song, I can't.
good
If
vibe.
somebody asked me like what the genre is for that song, that's probably one of the reasons that I like it is because I can't pin it down. It's like it's this kind of old English thing. I think the concept of that was for it to be a little bit of an English folk song in the film. Or even Americana folk song. But then we kind of Greg really gets a hold of it and is like, hey, why don't we put organ on that? And then we put a little bit of so these are jazz players.
And vibraphone too.
Right, jazz players, but then the feel of it's like the 6/8 thing that's more of a gospel thing. So it's like you're just mixing up a lot of stuff that really just is what it is.
Yeah. It all comes from similar sources when you really go down to the basics of it. And jazzers out there, if you know the album A New Perspective, Donald Byrd, the trumpeter, he uses a vibraphone from a cat that never recorded that I've ever found called Donald Best. And he puts this certain vibe, if you will, on that record. And I was thinking about that album as we were making this arrangement with David Rogers. So that explains a little bit of why the vibraphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to highlight another song from the world of film. This is from the Barbie movie, which came out a couple of years ago. I think a couple of years ago. Yeah, it came out. We're still in Philly.
Yeah.
Either last year or a couple of years ago. But yeah, this is a remake of a Billie Eilish song.
I used to float, now I just fall down. I used to know, but I'm not sure now what I was made for. What was I made for?
Now, we did a Billie Eilish song on the last album, and I'm trying to remember. Let me grab it here. Everything I Wanted.
Yeah.
And that was one of the ones I think that ended up standing out to people. So we're like, well, hey, why not revisit Billie Eilish?
Her catalog, yeah.
Yeah, and do another Billie Eilish song from like
cool.
it's probably the most popular song, I would say, that we have included on this album. And we're not really, neither of us are really people that would follow pop music particularly.
Really, to be honest.
But this one kind of stood out to me because I spend so much time online on TikTok.
Yeah.
And this is a big one on the socials.
Cool.
So I figured, why not try to relate to the kiddies just a little bit? Let's reach out to the kids and get all those 18-year-olds out buying jazz.
All five of you guys get this record, right?
Yeah. So I always have to include like a fun, happy, kind of upbeat thing. Like I said, Radio from Oklahoma Rain, Beautiful Sun from the Sun Season. What's another example? We had...
you said Radio, and
said... what's that one on Oklahoma Rain that I just feel like we don't talk about it enough. It's called... what is it?
You got me.
I'm stumping my own
You
self.
got me.
And the writing on the back of this album has always been so light till I can't read it. That's one of the flaws of the design of Oklahoma Rain. In the game.
Oh, okay.
In the game, I feel like, man, that one to me, we don't even give that song its just due. I can't say that's even the responsibility of other people. But In the Game from Oklahoma Rain, I feel like is a little bit of a standout track. And then not Shining, but on the last album, If You Ask Me To is another one of those fun. Yeah, and I always like to include, because jazz can kind of get a little bit moody and vibey to me, and it's just that's not really my.
Well, case in
only
point,
mode.
The last instrumental standard written, in my opinion, is Roy Hargrove's Strasbourg Saint-Denis, and it's a happy song, and high school kids are playing it.
Yeah, I mean, about like, what is that?
Yeah.
Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 bum,
Sonny
bum.
Rollins, St. Thomas, yeah.
So I always like to include these peppy things, and I don't care about servicing the world of jazz. This is just part of who I am. So
take a look around, you'll see happiness has come my way. Can't believe I found you, I'm mighty glad you're here to stay. 'Cause when I opened up my eyes, your love, it caught me by surprise, chasing my fears away, day by day. I am so glad I can say to be loving you. Life without your love won't do. With you I see my future and it's finally complete. But with you I am connected and I see myself reflected. And the road that I've selected led me straight to you. I'm happy to be loving you.
now I will say two things about Happy to Be Loving You.
Yes. Come on with it. And I'll say a thing about it too.
Fun fact. This song I wrote early on when I first moved to Nashville. This is all the way back in 2004.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. This is how long sometimes
minute.
that it takes me to actually get from conception to completion.
Yeah.
Was there not? And this album did not come to completion this late because of me. It wasn't because I didn't want it. It's because I would let certain people. Right.
Not this album. The song.
I'm sorry. The song. I let certain people hear it. The demo version of it was really tacky sounding, but I had brought this to Greg when we first met. I brought this to him, and I'm like, I have this idea for a song, and I'm not sure how to execute it. And he was trying to work.
We
with
worked
me.
at it.
He was trying to work with me to help me
while.
execute this, and it just kind of fell flat on its face. I ended up working with it later, like I said, producing a really tacky sounding demo. So when I would let people hear it, including Greg, they would just thumbs down. They just, even my sister Diamond, who writes with me sometimes, just was like, no, this song sucks. And so I think it was a production thing. And then I got together, though, during the pandemic with a guy named David Rogers, who helped me to conceptualize the song, to add some chords to it, which I rarely get help with chords.
Yeah.
With
harmonies.
kind of, conceptualizing songs, very rarely. But David Rogers, I have to credit him enormously with helping to bring the song to life and making it a little bit less stiff and clunky than what it was. So I'm glad this song made
It's
it
a
onto
good
the
performance. It is a good performance. Absolutely.
Notice he said performance, y'all.
It's a good performance.
He didn't say song. He said performance.
It's a
That's
good
all right.
performance.
You ain't got to believe in it.
No,
Somebody's
man.
going to believe in this song.
I believe in this record, and I want people to go get this record.
I want to highlight also the song that I think is the current single right now. Is it the current single? We released 3 like spotlight tracks.
Yes.
And this is Rod Magaha, the trumpet player that you're hearing right now.
Yeah.
This one's called Waiting for the Night, and it is our current spotlight single in advance of the release. Time Wouldn't Wait.
Waiting for the night when I can be in your arms, toast by candlelight, serenade among the stars. World is floating by. All I want is in your eyes, waiting for the time when you are mine.
Man, you sound like an instrument. Your voice sounds like a brass or a woodwind on that. It's beautiful control and a really, really good song. I think that song has the potential to really go beyond us, and I'm trusting that it will. If the right person is there and hears that and wants to collaborate or place it, please reach out. But I really feel like that.
Give us a call at 615.
No, I'm not trying to do a hard sell. I'm just saying how it hit me. Like, I feel like that song has legs and wings.
I appreciate you, Greg. I don't, nobody wants to hear me lamenting or trashing myself or my own voice or my own writing.
No, so don't do it.
I will say,
so don't do
from
it.
a place
don't
of
do
total
it.
honesty, because I feel like our audiences deserve that. And I feel like we need to be better with kind of, talking about a little bit of the behind the scenes, as we have, in this time. I have a lot of reservations, I'll say that, about my voice being the voice of my music. As I said, I came to Nashville not to sing, but to write, because I didn't feel and still do not feel that my voice is necessarily the best one to be delivering a lot of this music, but I do what I can with what I have. And that probably has a lot to do with the fact that I come from a family of singers. My father was a singer. My mother was a singer. My brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, everybody in the family is a singer. And I am by no means one of the more talented voices within my family group. And so I'm acutely aware of that. But I feel like if I can write music that meshes with the kind of voice that I have, and if I can deliver that music with conviction, then I'm doing the best I can with the gift that I have. I'll say it that way.
Is.
I want to highlight the last song, the only song that we haven't highlighted so far.
Okay.
And this is from the musical The King and I, and I'm a huge fan of Broadway and was just so excited to be able to include this classic film song on this album project.
I Have Dreamed.
I have dreamed that your arms are lovely.
And who's on piano?
Gary Versace.
I have dreamed what a joy you'll be. I have dreamed every word you'll whisper when you're close to me.
Yeah. Fitting clothes. I think you stacked this album really well. But I won't get into the minutia of the production.
I will say about that song in particular, and Broadway and show tunes, musical theater, those songs in particular. That was a love that my mother gave me. We would hear her, and we would come from I come from a very I don't want to say conservative, but a Christian family where there were a lot of rules about secular versus Christian music. There was a big deal when I got into singing jazz music, and my family accepting that I was not going to be entering into the world of gospel,
right.
but doing this kind of music. And do we go out and listen to her at this club? And is it okay to hear these songs that are not about Jesus and all of this stuff? But my mother was one of the ones who gave me a love for musical theater and Broadway music, Rodgers and Hammerstein, and so many of the others. And that is a Rodgers and Hammerstein song. So a part of that feels like a tribute to my mother, even in spite of the fact that I didn't grow up even being able to listen to a lot of this music. But Broadway and classic films were always the exception. Award shows, commercials, and then classic musicals were always the place where we could hear this kind of music. So to be able to include Broadway songs on any of my albums is a beautiful thing to me. I would love to record an entire album full of that stuff. Sondheim and Rodgers and Hammerstein, just the Broadway music that I love. I have so many different concepts for albums, whether they will ever be executed or not, I don't know. But I was glad to include that on this project.
I'm glad you did too, and I'm looking forward to performing some of these songs live. Go to darastartucker.com for the performance schedule that is still being populated, but it has some really fun stuff this year and at the beginning of next year also, 2026, in support of Time Wouldn't Wait. That's all I got. I don't know what else you have, but I think I'm good. If the boss lady is good.
Yeah, we're just kind of going back to the concept that we talked about towards the beginning of the album when I first introduced the Sun Season, which was the what is now considered to be our first album. But being able to be a tool or an instrument that's being used in the success of other people's lives, of other people's stories. I'm proud of Greg for booking the gigs that he has. I mean, we have several shows that we're going to be doing in support of this album, both here in Los Angeles. We've got shows scheduled where, Greg? Where are we getting on the road?
New York, Philadelphia, Nashville, Atlanta. And more are coming in.
Yeah, potentially Tulsa, I guess. We might try to schedule something in my hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma. But just, we're thankful for where this journey has led us. It has been an unconventional road. It's not been the road that we would have expected to traverse. It's still a story that's in the making.
Yeah.
And we hope to share more of that story, more of the behind the scenes of that story with you. But we can't regret anything that hasn't happened. Right. Or the way that we thought it should have come together. We can only make the decision, first of all, to continue to pursue our art as best we can and continue to make ourselves available, as I said, to be a part of someone else's success story. I think that's, you have to kind of understand when your career has entered a phase where you are no longer, it's all right to pursue your dreams, but we're not pursuing our dreams the way we did when we were 25 years old. And that's okay. Yeah. Because that to me is when, it becomes a little bit sad, to watch somebody who's in their 40s or whatever and thinks they're still in their 20s. Like, we're not doing that anymore. I'm not trying to be Rihanna. Right. I'm not trying to necessarily take over the world. My goal is to reach the people who are prepared, whose hearts are ready and minds are ready and souls are ready and prepared to hear the message that I am bringing to them, whether it's through social media or through the music that we are producing. Yeah. My goal is to reach those people. And I said to you, remember when I first decided to go online and to start talking about what I'm talking about online, which is social justice, which is racial justice, which is political awareness and all of these things. I said, I feel like the world of music is limiting me a little bit, but my job is to make a connection with my audience.
Yeah.
My audience is there, and I know they're there.
Yeah.
But I feel like somehow I have not broken through and connected with that group of people who are receptive to hearing what I have to say, whether it's through music or through, the spoken word, whatever that is. And I like to use this analogy that I've given Greg many times over the years. I've used it many times. And that is that, there's an episode of the old Star Trek, which is one of my favorite shows of all time, the original Star Trek series, where this group of aliens has abducted Captain Pike, the original captain of the Enterprise, and has, they've got him in this little isolation chamber, where there's this glass, impenetrable glass that he is trying to break through with his phaser. And these guys use mind control to convince you that you haven't seen what you have seen. They control you through controlling your mind. And Captain Pike gets his phaser and he points it at the glass and he tries to shoot a hole through it, and it looks like nothing happened. And he somehow gets a hold of one of these aliens and he says, I think I just blew a hole in that glass. And I feel like you're using mind control to make me think that I have not blown through it. Would you like me to test out my theory on your head? And in that moment, that alien releases that control that he has over that man's mind, and he shows them, he reveals that he blew a hole in that glass all along. And that's a lot of what I feel like we are in the process of right now. We have, as my father would remind me, we have reached more people than we think. We have accomplished more than what we think. Our journey has meant more than what it feels like sometimes that it has. We are not necessarily able to see the full realization of that, but it may not be for us to see that realization in our lifetime. But the goal is to keep communicating, to keep connecting, to keep producing our art, and to believe that we have blown a hole in that glass and that we have accomplished the purpose that has been set out for us.
We got to go.
Let the church say that the doors of the church are open,
We
folks.
got to go.
This is Time Wouldn't Wait. We would encourage you to take some time to bond with this album. I know that's harder to do in your old age, but take some time to experience Time Wouldn't Wait and hear the messages that are being communicated to you, because this is what is on our hearts and in our minds. And we thank you so much for taking time to spend some time with us today to talk about this and our journey in music and in life. Thank you so much. Thank you to Greg Bryant.
Richard.
Thank you, Richard, who's our engineer.
Thank you, Dara Starr Tucker. Follow her on all the socials. Time Wouldn't Wait. Order it. Pre-order
Comes out
it.
August 15th.
August 15th.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.